Congressman Zinke. You just got to Congress. You're a retired Navy SEAL. And one of the things that Leon Panetta said is that the greatest national security threat to the United States is not ISIS, it's not Al-Qaeda, it's Washington. What do you think so far?
Well, 3 days in, a lot of what he says is truthful. We're too bureaucratic, polarized, and I think the authorization is probably, a good look at that. Is what does the authorization mean? We're going to have hearings in Congress. I think the president was right to ask Congress. But at the end of the day, what does it mean? I think Americans want the truth. When you embed troops, and air operations alone is not going to degrade or destroy ISIS. That's clear. But when you embed special operations troops, you're not going to sprinkle and it's not going to be over the horizon. They're going to be up front. That means you have to make sure they have the right equipment, right training, right rules of engagement to win decisively on the field of battle. And you're not going to embed one or two special operations folks and selected units. That package will require medevac. What if our guys get injured? What if we need a quick reaction force?
Right.
So the footprint is going to be larger than I think the administration
and Congressman, you've got an op-ed in the Washington Times. We'll put it up on screen, and it says, "I look at President Obama's proposal, and all I see is an outline of what our troops are not allowed to do. Congress should not be asked to put restrictions on the military. When the U.S. does go to war, we go to war to win. It is time the president stops listening to political pollsters and finally develop a plan to win." I want to take this to Chairman Rogers here. Mike, the president said last week that we don't want an endless war. And he tried to bake that into this authorization for use of military force. Does he have a point?
No. Well, first of all, this is a monumental failure of leadership. If you would have approached Congress before, met with members, I know this sounds crazy, met with members of both parties, you could have had a product that he asked for that would have passed in a week on Capitol Hill.
Why didn't that happen?
This is, I think, the hallmark of this presidency. He refuses to believe he needs to engage members of Congress of either party. And on something as serious as this, I mean, if you recall, I was calling last year for an AUMF back in August and September, because if you're going to ask these men and women to go and serve in this pretty tough neighborhood, you have to give them all the full faith and confidence of the United States and American people. He didn't do it then. He keeps putting it off. He keeps talking about the things he won't do. He did that last year. He's drawing it into this year. This, to me, was the most frustrating thing to watch. We have a growing problem. Now you see ISIS nodes in Egypt. You see them in Libya. You see them in Afghanistan. You see them along the border area of Pakistan. And what this is so frustrating is they're getting bigger. They're expanding their operations. They're looking for new safe havens. In the meantime, we're going to have hearings for a period of weeks to try to do something that he should have been working on for the last 6 months.
But Mike, one thing that Democrats do say is that ISIS is laying a trap. What they do want is they want the United States and its coalition to invest a huge ground force presence in Iraq and potentially in Syria and get caught in another quagmire that lasts another 10 years. What about that?
Well, and this is the president's straw man argument. If you're not for what I'm for, you're for 100,000 troops, the 82nd Airborne Division marching on to Raqqa in Syria. No one is calling for that. But the problem was we got into this semantic argument, and the congressman touched on it a moment ago. We believe that if you embed some soldiers, now there is a footprint there, but we got into this semantic political argument of, well, what is a boot on the ground? Is it 1? Is it 50? Is it 200? A ridiculous argument.
And that
if you want to leverage up the ability for our friends and our allies, you need special forces capabilities and intelligence capabilities downrange.
And that is nebulous in this AUMF. We don't know what these ground forces potentially might be doing down the road. We have a light footprint now. All the president is trying to ban in this AUMF is enduring combat operations, leaves a lot of room in the middle, a lot of wiggle room. Congressman, how are your fellow Republicans going to respond to this? Are they going to give the president the authorization he needs?
Well, he has the authorization now, and there's no doubt that he'll have a robust capability, because you can't fight war in a half-punch, fashion, and it will take ground troops. We're going to ask for a plan. I think our troops deserve that. The military, when this is from a perspective of not only a commander, but a father. My daughter's a former Navy diver. My son-in-law is an active duty Navy SEAL. I've been to a lot of funerals. I know the consequences of war. But when you go to war to win. decisively. And that means you make sure that our troops have what they need to win on the battlefield.
Is the president going to war to win right now?
No, in my estimation, not. You can't fight from a distance. It will take coalition. And look, this is a battle as much between or within Islam as it is East and West. And what we have to do is separate the terrorist organizations within Islam from mainstream. And it will take resolve, it will take commitment, it will take coalition. And I do agree with King Abdullah of Jordan that it is an Islamic battle to fight, but we need to provide logistics, make sure the intelligence is correct, and if they use our air, which is critical, we have to make sure our guys on the ground are directing it in the right places. That means you need to embed special forces and other groups, and when you do that, you got to protect them on the field of battle. We've seen what happens when they capture. And so I don't think we ever want to have one of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marine in the same position as the Jordanian pilot.
All right, Congressman Zinke, we'll have to leave it there. Chairman Mike Rogers, thanks very much for being with us this morning.